Hello everyone and welcome to this course. First, I want to thank you not only for buying this course and supporting the work that I'm doing, but also for your dedicated effort to either practice meditation or start doing it. I think there is tremendous benefit for both ourselves and the world when we practice meditation earnestly. Not only will we free ourselves from our limited sense of being, but we will also become a light for the world. Having said that, I also want to add that we should not attach to either of these concepts. Sure, it sounds like a noble thing to do, but it's always our limited sense of self that imposes ideas and outcomes on the activities we are doing. And this is especially true for meditation. We don't want to do meditation in order to get something or to realize something, as this would simply imply that we do not already have it. In addition to that, this would also only increase our seeking, our grasping, and holding on to something relative and impermanent. The meditation I'm referring to goes beyond any of these notions. It's about letting go of our seeking, our grasping, our longing for an imagined idea of something that we think is desirable. Since we already are what we are, it's about letting go and becoming fully empty of our distorted ideas of ourselves and the world. So in the first lesson of this course, I will go through some of the fundamentals of meditation, how to create a practice that suits you, and the orientation that's helpful with it. The second lesson deals with the heart of spiritual practice, which is to develop discernment. It's important to discern the real from the unreal, the relative from the absolute, and we do that by letting go of all relative and false notions about reality. Then, in the third lesson, I'll discuss the implications of seeking. Whenever we seek something, we deviate from truth, from reality, from what's here right now. Seeking creates suffering, as the Buddha said, and it's about recognizing and letting go of this impulse in order to see things as they are. And last but not least, in the fourth session, I will touch upon integrating the former ideas into our daily lives. Not only do we want to practice spirituality on the meditation cushion, but we also want to practice it in harmony with our day-to-day lives. In addition to the lessons I've just discussed, you will also find a video for each lesson where I read a quote from a Zen master and meditate on that, like a guided silent meditation, where you can either join or simply listen to the quote and my comments on it. This can be helpful for going deeper into each topic. And as a bonus, you will also find a guided meditation for each lesson. Each meditation is about 10 to 20 minutes long, and it may help you develop deeper awareness of what we are discussing in this course. I really hope this course inspires you to deepen your spiritual practice in some way. I wish you all the best. Your friend of the way. Bye. Every enlightened teacher confirms that we are already enlightened. But if we are not aware of it, it just doesn't help. That's why it's important to commit to our own awakening and build a realistic meditation routine. Hey everyone, and welcome to the first lesson of this course. Meditation is a gateway for us to awaken to our true self. But what is meditation? In this lesson, I will share key principles of meditation and spiritual practice, addressing both the mind and the body. So let's begin this journey with an open mind and a sincere heart. Nowadays, many people practice some form of meditation or spirituality, but they struggle with consistency, they have difficulties integrating their practice into their daily lives, or they just lack depth in their practice. Naturally, this leads to frustration, which makes them doubt their practice, and after some time they just lose the motivation to continue with it. Or maybe they keep practicing, but they feel stuck with only a shallow understanding of what it's actually all about, and therefore lack transformation or realization. The other extreme would be to engage in too many different spiritual practices or types of meditation, which can lead to a kind of spiritual burnout and difficulties applying these practices or insights from these practices into daily life. It all comes down to not being clear about the true aim of spiritual practice. Doing some spiritual practice that's just not effective, or being full of doubts and having problems committing fully. And before we get into the details of effective spiritual practice, we need to clarify the most important point first. Without it, nothing will work in your practice. First, it's important to make a decision to practice, to wake up, and to maintain a strong commitment to this decision. The famous Korean Zen master Sung San, who founded the Zen school I've practiced in, came up with a concept that helps illustrate this point. He simply called it great faith, great courage, and great doubt. Great faith means keeping the mind that has decided to practice no matter what. And he compares it with a hen sitting on her eggs. She sits on them and cares for them constantly, making sure they will hatch. If she is careless about it, if she doesn't have faith that the eggs will hatch eventually, the eggs will not hatch and the chicks will die. And translated to Zen, this means believing in your true self 100% and not wavering. And it doesn't require you to have faith in an object, in something else. It's about living your life in a way where your foot meets the ground while you walk. Your foot will never be unsure if the ground is there or not. And in the same way, you meet each moment with 100% faith in your true self, not wondering if it's there or not. And with great courage, he meant to bring all your energy to only one point. He compared it with a cat that's hunting a mouse. Although the mouse has hidden itself in its hole, the cat waits outside for hours and hours on end without giving up. It waits patiently, only focusing on the mouse hole. And this means letting go of all your thinking and reorienting your awareness to only one point. It means that you keep going. You let go of all your detrimental thoughts, and even when difficulties arise, you bring up the courage to practice. And the last point, which is great doubt, means that you are also like someone who is thirsty for water. This person can only think of water, and the same way, you keep only thinking about who you really are. It means keeping the question of who am I, or what is this, steadily, with great faith and great courage. I think these 3 points help us clarify how we approach spirituality and our meditation practice. Now, what are the implications of true spiritual practice? Every true spiritual practice aims at letting go of false identifications and grounding oneself in what we truly are. It means to reveal our true essence, the ground of being, in our experience from moment to moment. And in order to do that, we need to let go of being identified with our narrow way of thinking and our distorted perspective on life and reality. And this means letting go of all fixated points of view, all limiting perspectives and beliefs, while turning our attention toward the ever-present, still source that we truly are. And this source has many names. Some call it God, others Buddha or Brahman. The Native Americans call it Great Spirit, but it's also referred to as Self, pure awareness, the unborn, the unknown, or nothingness. So whenever we engage in true spiritual practice, we shift our attention from something which is known, like a thought or a feeling, to the unknown, which is just silent and still awareness. It means letting go of our conceptual thinking and immersing ourselves fully into the unknown dimension of life. Conceptual thinking is like a lens that distorts the way we see reality, and we have to become more interested in the unknown than in that which is known. It's about surrendering fully and completely to the unknown. Whatever opinions we hold, whatever hesitations, doubts, or beliefs we have, we give up the false security they seem to provide and become completely empty and free. Because only when we are completely empty of all conditions and notions of separation can we realize what we truly are. Zen Master Sung San simply referred to it as don't know mind. But no matter what you choose to call it, it's important to remember that it's only a pointer. Words can only point to it, but never describe it. Since this point, God, Buddha, absolute reality, is not limited. In Zen, we say that Zen is only a finger pointing to the moon. The moon represents the absolute, while the finger is merely a pointer toward it. And therefore, it's important to keep in mind that the finger is not the moon. Zen, or whatever spiritual practice or tradition you are following, is just a finger pointing toward the moon. I'll discuss the heart of spiritual practice in more detail in the upcoming lessons. But for now, I want to talk a little about formal practice. Spiritual practice doesn't happen only on the cushion, as I've discussed before. We need to keep practicing at all times, no matter where we are or what we are doing. That's the idea at least, which doesn't mean that there aren't times where we are going unconsciously through our day. However, I believe it's really important to strive for a consistent meditation routine. This means dedicating some time during your day to meditation practice. And in order to stay consistent with your meditation practice, it's important to set realistic goals first. Instead of setting unrealistic goals, try to establish a routine that fits your life situation. Consider what time of the day works best for your meditation. Preferably, you want to do it in the morning or in the evening in order to start and end the day with meditation. But if you can only do it in the middle of the day, it's also fine. In addition to that, think about the duration of a meditation session. If you're a beginner, start with 5 minutes and go from there. There is no need to overwhelm yourself at the beginning of your meditation journey. And if you are already more advanced, aim for 25 to 35 minutes for each session. I personally strive for multiple meditation sessions throughout the day, always combining 2 25-minute sessions with a short break in between. I've also had 35-minute sessions or even longer ones, but I found that when I do 25-minute sessions, it's easier to calculate and plan for. This way, I know my session won't exceed more than an hour, so it's easy to plan. And I personally wouldn't meditate for longer than 40 or 45 minutes, just because it's easy to get dreamy toward the end of this session, which is not what we are aiming for. Next, it's important to talk about the ideal posture for meditation. Sure, you can also meditate while lying flat in your bed, but you'll probably fall asleep. If you can only do it that way because you have issues with your body, go for it. But if your body is fine, get yourself a nice meditation cushion. You can find a good one on Amazon or in a yoga store. If you can't sit on a cushion on the floor for any reason, sitting in a chair is also fine. Just make sure it's not too comfortable. You want to keep a straight spine if possible. So when you are sitting on the floor, just make sure that your knees are below your hips. That's why it's important to use a cushion where you can elevate yourself so that your knees are below your hips. If you keep them raised, as many do in their Instagram stories, you won't last long because it will start hurting very quickly. There are many different positions you can use while meditating on a cushion, and it may take a while for your body to get used to a certain position. However, no matter if you are in a full lotus, a half lotus, or the Burmese position, or any other position, just make sure that you have a solid base and a straight and erect spine. Imagine a pyramid. It has a solid base, which makes it stable and difficult to be moved around, but it reaches toward the heaven with its top. And I think that's a nice symbol for our practice. Also make sure to keep your chin slightly tucked in and your tongue resting on the roof of your mouth. Last but not least, keep your eyes open during meditation, gazing about 1 meter or 3 feet at the floor in front of you. Keeping your eyes open during meditation will increase your alertness, and it will blur the line between meditation and daily life. It's not about drifting off in meditation. It's not about escaping to dreamland. It's about being here and now, keeping a not moving mind, letting go of all your thoughts, your beliefs, your conditions, and becoming clear. Sure, if you really prefer meditating with your eyes closed, do it. It's better to meditate the way you want than to force yourself to keep your eyes open while feeling resistant to your practice. When I started meditating, I always kept my eyes closed. Even when I began to practice in a Zen school, I secretly kept them closed. And since we were facing the wall, I thought nobody would notice anyway. However, after 2 or 3 sessions, I gave it a try and started meditating with my eyes open, gazing at the floor. And since then, I have always kept them open. It may take a little while to get used to it, but once you do it, you likely won't go back to meditating with closed eyes. And last but not least, breathe only through your nose and into your belly. You want to breathe from the lower part of your belly and not your chest. Alright, now as we have discussed the most important aspects of setting up a meditation routine, I want you to come up with a schedule that works for you. And it's not set in stone, so you can adapt it as you go. Don't overthink it too much. And ideally, if you haven't done so already today, take some time to meditate. And when you do that, just sit. Don't try to fight your thoughts. Simply become aware of them and let them pass. Don't hold on to them. And if feelings arise, allow yourself to feel them, but let them pass as well. Just by observing the movements of your mind, it will automatically become still. In each moment, let go of any thought, feeling, opinion, belief, or anything else. Let go of your thinking. Cut off your thinking. And this way, you'll go beyond your conditioned mind and enter into the realm of the unknown. Zen Master Sungsan simply called it the don't know mind. This don't know mind is clear like a mirror and reflects reality just as it is. Alright, I'll go into more detail in the next lessons, but this should be enough for a start. Remember, it's not about intellectual understanding. It's about going beyond the intellect. Many Zen masters meditated for years or even decades on just one short instruction from their master before they attained enlightenment. So the information I'm sharing here is more than enough. And if you are confused, congrats. Keep this not knowing mind in your meditation and you'll be able to see reality very clearly. Alright, see you in the next lesson. Your friend of the way. Bye. So how is it that we are ignorant of our own enlightenment? And what keeps us from experiencing this truth? Hey everyone, and welcome to the second lesson of this course. Discernment means seeing beyond our ignorance and learning to distinguish between the absolute, truth, Buddha, God, or whatever you call it, and the relative appearances. In this lesson, you will learn how to differentiate between the absolute and the relative so that your true nature can reveal itself. Let's dive into this so that we can see reality as it truly is. We are already Buddha. Some of you have already heard a statement like this. Others may have heard it in a different form. You are already God, you are already enlightened, you are already absolute truth, or you are already the self. Buddha translates to the awakened one, and it refers to someone who has attained enlightenment, someone who has awakened to the true nature of reality. This realization means to understand that everything is interconnected and empty of an independent self. To awaken is to realize that everything is already complete, that you are not separate from anything. The illusion of a separate me versus a you just dissolves, and in that moment, you experience profound peace, love, and freedom. It's a direct experience of the infinite. Although this description may convey the idea that it's a special state of mind, it's actually the exact opposite. Awakening or enlightenment means seeing everything as it is. It's realizing that everything is already perfect and complete just as it is. And instead of gaining a new, special way of seeing things, it's seeing reality just without the distortions of our conditioned mind. And since reality is already as it is, which means that it's already whole and complete, we just have to let go of our distorted way of perceiving it. It also means that we don't become a Buddha, we don't become an awakened one, but we see through the illusion that we are not already Buddha or enlightened. And when we are no longer caught in delusion, we see the truth in everything. The ordinary and the extraordinary, the light and the dark, everything as it is, already whole and complete. What keeps us from having this enlightened view? My favorite Zen master of all times, Huang Po, he once said that all Buddhas and ordinary people are just the one mind, and that ignorance means not knowing this fact. What he's basically saying is that we are already enlightened, but our ignorance keeps us from recognizing it. And Bodhidharma, who is the founder of Zen, said then when delusions are absent, the mind is the land of the Buddhas. And when they are present, the mind is hell. Ignorance just means clinging to and being attached to thoughts and perceptions. If we are attached to any viewpoint, we are ignorant and we cannot see the absolute truth. And as human beings, we have been conditioned since birth. And if you believe in rebirth, then even prior to birth. We don't see reality as it is right in front of us, but we view it from our own perspective, a conditioned view of how we think reality is. And that's why it's important to let go of any attachments to the ideas, beliefs, and opinions we hold. The idea is to let go of everything relative so that the absolute can shine through and reveal itself. So when we enter a spiritual path, one of the most important abilities we have to develop is discernment. Discernment means the ability to discern between the absolute and the relative, the real and the unreal. In Zen, we differentiate between the ultimate truth, that which is unchanging and beyond any concept, and the relative appearances, which are impermanent and conditioned. The relative, which is the unreal, has a beginning and it has an end, whereas the absolute neither comes nor goes. So whatever has a beginning and an end can't be real in terms of absolute reality. It's just a transient phenomena, an appearance which is impermanent and subject to change. It has no independent existence. The Absolute, however, represents the ultimate unchanging reality, which is eternal with no beginning or end. And through discernment, we see beyond duality and the illusion of relative and impermanent appearances. This involves distinguishing between the true from the false and experiencing reality directly, without being clouded by our conditioned concepts, attachments, or other dualistic notions. Just seeing reality as it is, seeing things as they are, and understanding that we are not separate from them. However, as long as we are attached to opinions, beliefs, thoughts, feelings, or whatever, we can't see the full picture. Dainan Katagiri, a Japanese Zen master who died a few decades ago, he once said, "Whatever you think is a delusion." So any thought we have is limited. It appears and it disappears. And therefore it can contain the absolute, unlimited truth. If we are looking at reality through a thought, then we filter it through that thought, and we don't see reality as it is. That's why it's important to discern between a limited viewpoint, thought, or belief, and that which is unlimited, absolute, ultimate truth. And this is where our spiritual practice comes in. I will now explain how you can shape your meditation practice to learn to differentiate between these two viewpoints. Please be aware that whenever we use language in order to convey this idea, we cannot prevent ourselves from creating a duality. A duality between the relative and the absolute. Even discussing the absolute already creates its opposite, which is the relative. However, let's also not get too fixated on this issue. See this advice as a raft, a boat that carries you to the other shore, but once you are there, you no longer need it. The main idea I want to share to inspire your meditation practice is to let go of all relative viewpoints and focus on the absolute. This is a very simple idea, but our conditioned mind creates all kinds of traps where we can get stuck if we don't pay attention. That's why I'd like to explain it a bit further. Some of you might be confused and say, "Hey, how can I focus on the absolute if I don't even know what the absolute is?" No worries. First, it's enough to learn to let go of your relative viewpoints, your beliefs, ideas, opinions, and so on. And second, you are already the absolute. The purpose of meditation is not to become what you already are, but to let go of the illusions of what you are not. So whenever you do that, your true being will reveal itself. In addition to that, please remember what I discussed in the first lesson. Zen Master Sung San referred to the absolute, our true being, our true self, as don't know mind. In this sense, it's more about not knowing, which is beyond any concept, and can be compared to a state of open, pure awareness, rather than a concrete viewpoint or a definite statement such as, "This is the truth." Zen Master Sung San also said that he doesn't teach Zen, he only teaches don't know. And when Bodhidharma, the founder of Zen, when he was asked about the highest meaning of the holy truth, he simply replied, "Vast emptiness, nothing holy." So whenever we hold any viewpoint, it's a relative viewpoint. And it's easy to explain why. When I say to myself, "I know the truth," I'm essentially creating a duality, a subject, which is me, and an object, which is the idea of truth. And as I have discussed before, any idea is limited by its nature because it appears and it disappears, and is therefore relative. Even when I say, "I don't know the truth," it still creates a duality. Me, the subject, and the statement, which is the object. So whenever there is a definite statement, there is duality. There is separation between a subject and an object. And this belongs to the realm of the relative. So when you sit in meditation, watching your thoughts. Let go of any definite statement that arises, whatever the statement is, and be completely radical with this. Because our mind constantly creates statements like, this is so, or this is so, and this is neither good nor bad. This is just its function. The third patriarch or ancestor of Zen, Zhengzan was his name, he simply said, do not seek the truth, only cease to cherish opinions. And this is a very important point he highlights. I'll explore the first part where he said, do not seek truth. And this is a very important point he highlights. I'll explore the first part where he said, don't seek truth in the next lesson. But for now, let's focus on the second part, which is to stop attaching to opinions. As I have said before, our brain creates all kinds of thoughts, opinions, beliefs, whatever. If you try to stop it from doing that, you will definitely fail. It's not about trying to stop our brain from creating these thoughts. It's more about how we deal with them. Therefore, become aware of the ideas your mind creates and let them go. Be completely radical with this. Since every viewpoint is only a relative truth, you are merely releasing false ideas. You cannot accidentally let go of the absolute, because the absolute is not an idea. It simply is. And when you do this, you will notice that sometimes it's easier to let go of ideas, and sometimes it's just more difficult. What prevents you from letting go of some of your ideas is simply your attachment to them. If your brain comes up with a random thought, you have no real investment in it. It's easy to let go of it. However, if an idea enters your mind that you are invested in, letting go can become difficult because you are attached to that idea. You have probably experienced this. A thought comes again and again, and it seems like you just can't let it go. So you probably think, I can't let go of this thought. However, if you paid attention, you immediately recognize that what I just said is also only a relative statement and not the absolute truth. Even holding on to the idea that I can't let go of that thought becomes a lens through which we view reality. And when this happens, you are no longer completely open and receptive to what is happening in the present moment, as you have created another idea, a filter through which you view reality. It's only an issue if you attach to this thought. You're not even thinking about the original thought anymore, because now you're attaching to the thought, I can't let go. The Zen master Shunryu Suzuki said that in Zazen, in meditation, you should leave your front door and your back doors open, letting thoughts come and go, but not serving them tea. So it's more about becoming aware of them and letting them pass, rather than trying to stop them. Many spiritual people attach to the idea that they are not supposed to have any thoughts at all. So they sit in meditation and try forcefully to suppress their thoughts, which of course isn't possible. So become aware of your thoughts, let them pass, let them go, and don't attach. Also remember that anything your awareness can land on, even if it's very subtle, it's only a relative phenomenon. The idea that you are enlightened or that you are not enlightened is equally wrong. Both are just relative ideas. Or the idea that the meditation is going well today or not going well today is also just an idea and not the truth. Whenever you become aware of something, it means you are the subject and there is an object you have become aware of. This creates a duality and separateness as you are different from that mental object. Therefore, it's never the absolute truth. Keep this in mind. Alright, now I want to invite you to test it for yourself. Whenever it works for you today, sit down for a few minutes or longer and just practice that. Just sit. Become aware of your thoughts and let them go. Cut off your attachment to your ideas and just stay open to what's currently present. I hope this was helpful and see you in the next lesson. I wish you all the best. Your friend of the way. Bye. How does desire or seeking keep us from realizing who we truly are? And how can we learn to let go of it? Hey everybody, and welcome to the third lesson of this course. In this lesson, we will explore how desire and seeking create suffering by making us feel incomplete and disconnected from the present moment, from what is. You will learn how to recognize and let go of your seeking mind, which gives your true nature the opportunity to come forth. Now, let's dive into this so that we can go beyond seeking in order to awaken to what already is. The historical Buddha said that life is suffering, and that desire is the root of suffering. The word he used for suffering is dukkha, which could also be translated as unsatisfactoriness. Desire means wanting, seeking something that we are not, or that's not present with us right now. And this wanting, this seeking for something else, implies that we are not complete. Something has to happen in order for us to feel whole. And because we don't feel whole and complete, we suffer and find life to be unsatisfactory. We don't accept reality as it is, and we want it to be different. If I only get this job, I will be happy. If I only make this much money, I will be happy. If I only meet my dream partner, then life will be happy. We are never satisfied with what is. We don't accept reality as it is, and therefore we suffer. This way we can't be at peace with ourselves or the world. This seeking, this wanting of things to be different, keeps us from becoming enlightened, or from seeing that we are already enlightened, and from seeing reality as it is. So whenever we seek to get somewhere, to get something, or to get away from something, this is seeking or desire. Seeking something implies that we are not satisfied with how it is right now, and that we want something else. This keeps us trapped in a cycle of suffering. So why are we doing that? Because we're ignorant of our true self. We misidentify with our body and mind and our conditioned way of being, and we become attached to impermanent things. Instead of being aware that we are life and reality itself, we think that we are only a small part of it, something that was born and that will die. We choose to cling to our conditioned way of living instead of being completely open and free. We think we lack something, that something is missing, and we imagine that when we get what we desire, we will be at peace again. So we keep going and going, always searching, always seeking, always trying to get away from what is present right now to something we imagine to be better. This is a lot of unnecessary struggle that doesn't get us anywhere. Because once we get there, it becomes the here and now, but we won't be able to see or appreciate it since we are already seeking the next better moment. And not only does this apply to our daily lives, but it also extends to our spiritual lives. You might sit in meditation, let go of your viewpoints, ideas, and beliefs you become aware of, and because you are spiritual, you want to know the absolute truth. You let go of all these relative ideas in order to get to know your true being, the absolute, your Buddha nature, or Brahman. You seek something beyond conceptual reality, beyond any relative notion, something that all the holy sages refer to as the absolute truth. Because this absolute truth is better than the relative truth. And when you finally get it, everything will be perfect. You will be able to float above the ground, have no more worries, becoming all-knowing. This is the sales pitch for enlightenment. And you bought it, and you want to get there. But there are two issues with seeking something, even if it's enlightenment. The first issue is that enlightenment is only an idea, and any idea is a limited mental concept. The absolute or enlightenment is not limited and is beyond all concepts. So when we seek enlightenment, what are we really seeking other than a limited mental concept? And the second issue is that whenever we seek something, we create a duality. Because here, right and now, this moment is not enough. We want it to be different. So there is this moment right now, and there is an imagined moment somewhere in the future, and we are torn between these two. If we are seeking to become enlightened, it implies that we seek a condition that's not here and now, but one that will be there in the future. It means that this condition is impermanent and limited because it has a beginning and it also has an end. So we are basically seeking a relative idea, a relative condition. Since absolute truth is already absolute truth, we don't have to seek or create it, as it's the basis of everything. We just need to let go of seeking altogether in order for it to reveal itself. I am not enlightened, but I want to become enlightened. This is seeking. Or if you attach to the thought, I am deluded, I have to meditate to stop being deluded and become clear and enlightened. Or I don't understand anything, I finally want to understand. This is seeking. But it also expresses itself in more subtle ways. This meditation is boring. When will the alarm finally ring? Or I don't feel comfortable. My knees are hurting. I want to feel comfortable. I want some more coffee because right now it just doesn't do it. The founder of the Soto School of Zen, Dogen, said that if we can't find truth right where we are, where else should we expect to find it? And this statement makes it really clear what Zen is all about. It's not about finding some distant truth, something that's not present right now, something we imagine happening in the future, some state of perfect bliss or whatever. It's finding the truth right where we are right now. Letting go of all delusions that keep us trapped and abandoning seeking altogether. We can imagine a sky full of clouds. The clouds prevent us from seeing the sun directly. When the clouds pass, the sun shines clearly once more. In this example, even though the sun is covered by the clouds, the sun is still there. So even if we are deluded by the clouds of our own ideas, beliefs and opinions, the ultimate truth is still there. It may be less perceivable to us, but the sun is not diminished. Now, we could say, all right, we have to eliminate all the clouds and free the sun so that we can see it. But is that really so? This is just another cloud up there. We have simply placed another cloud between ourselves and the sun. And this cloud is called seeking. Trying to get rid of seeking is also seeking. Maybe, when you have heard this, you felt a sense of hopelessness, a sense of capitulation, a feeling of, what should I do now? And this is surrender. This is don't know mind. Finally, we are not trying to impose one idea over another. We are not imposing the absolute truth over the relative truth. We are not trying to win a battle of absolute versus relative. In this moment, we are not holding on to any idea, nor are we seeking anything. Instead, we become radically open and receptive to what's happening right now. Remember, only vast emptiness, nothing holy, as the founder of Zen Bodhidharma said. Now, I invite you to meditate on this. Simply watch your mind. Observe the ideas, beliefs, and opinions it creates and let them go. Notice whenever you seek something else, a better moment, enlightenment, or anything else, and let that go as well. Pay close attention to the internal movement that tries to take you somewhere or seek something other than the present moment. These seeking movements can be very subtle, so pay close attention to this while you're meditating. It could be that when you sit down for meditation, you think, okay, I want to become present and I want to let go of all seeking. Now, you might witness this movement in your mind and think, now I'm seeking to be present. Lucky that I'm so smart and realize this. I will now get rid of this seeking. As I said before, if you want to stop seeking, this itself is seeking. So just sit down and become aware of these movements in your mind. They will naturally play out in all kinds of ways. It's not about making them stop, but the clearer you become about these internal movements, the less invested you will be. And the less invested you become, the weaker they will be. You won't be able to stop the seeking energy with willpower, since that itself is seeking. So it's more about becoming a wide, open space, where you allow everything to play out without being invested in it. Just try to recognize whenever this seeking energy arises within you and let it go. Or you could also say, let it be. You'll be able to recognize this energy more easily and see how it wants to drag you around, making you unconscious of the present moment. Your mind, your awareness will become stronger. It won't be dragged around so easily anymore, becoming more rooted in what is, in the present moment. And the seeking energy will grow weaker, dissolving into the vast and empty space of awareness that you truly are. All right, I hope this was helpful, and I wish you much clarity in your meditation. Looking forward to seeing you in the next lesson. I wish you all the best. Your friend of the way. Bye. How does constantly checking our thoughts, feelings, our situations keep us trapped in ignorance and suffering? And how can we let go of it? Hey everybody, and welcome to the 4th session of this course. In this lesson, we will explore how the checking mind, the habit of constantly judging and doubting ourselves and the world, creates a sense of separation and prevents us from experiencing reality as it is. You will learn how to recognize this habit, let go of it, and live with a clear and open mind that welcomes each moment fully. Now, let's dive in and explore how to free ourselves from this ignorance and awaken to what's already here. If we can digest a moment as it is, we will start worrying, doubting, judging, comparing, and so on. We keep attaching to and holding on to this moment. Instead of experiencing the moment and reality directly, we keep attaching to these thoughts, which create a sense of separation and therefore suffering. Zen Master Sung San had a simple way to describe this issue. He just called it checking mind. A checking mind means that we check either something within or outside of ourselves. It means to resist the present moment, trying to find a solution based on our preconceived ideas beliefs, and opinions. Imagine sitting in meditation and suddenly you start worrying about your meditation practice. I read the meditation instruction, but am I doing it correctly? I am thinking way too much in meditation. How can I cut off my thinking? What if I'm doing it wrong? Will I waste my time? Will I not get enlightenment? What if I don't get enlightenment? Will I die in ignorance and suffer a lot? This is checking mind, and it means being attached to your thinking. And you have probably had extensive experience with this. Checking your body, checking your feelings, checking your mind, checking what others are thinking about you. Whenever you check anything, you will have a problem. And as I said before, it also extends to things outside of ourselves. We are checking what the neighbor is doing, whether he is behaving right or wrong, and so on. We are checking the whole world. So whenever we check anything, we nourish our doubts, judgments, hesitations, and so on. We are completely cut off from what is actually happening, and we hold on to whatever we think about any given situation or thing. And this also extends into our spiritual practice. We are constantly checking if we are doing it correctly or if we attain enlightenment or not. When will I get finally enlightened? When will my ignorance go away? Whenever we practice, and ideally this happens not only when we sit in formal meditation, but also as we go through our everyday lives, we need to become aware whenever we check our condition, our situation, our thinking, and we have to put it down or let it go. Zen Master Huang Po once said that the arising and the elimination of illusion are both illusory. Since illusion is not rooted in reality, but only exists because of our dualistic thinking. He emphasized that we should let go of indulging in concepts such as ordinary or enlightened, and if we do that, illusions will end by themselves. Therefore, we need to let go of our checking minds, our mind that wants to find certainty in a given position, since any position we will take will also create its opposite. If I want to be certain that I am enlightened, it will create the notion of ignorance, and I can't see reality as it is anymore. I will be torn between these two extremes. And according to Zen Master Sung San, letting go of your checking mind means only go straight, don't know. It means becoming aware of your checking, letting it go, and returning to your true nature, which can be described as don't know mind, as I've discussed in previous lessons. But what does it mean to return to your true nature? When we sit in meditation and we become aware of our checking mind, we let it go and we return to what's happening right now, which is sitting in meditation. Or when we are going through our everyday lives and we come across some really bad news and we get sad, instead of checking if this is right or wrong, we let this checking go and return to what's happening, which in this example would be only sadness. And if we come across some wonderful news, we are only happy. We don't check if this is right or wrong, or if we are attaching or not. Living with this don't know mind means being fully available to each and every moment. Everything is welcome, and we don't resist it. So when we are in hell, we welcome hell. And when we are in heaven, we welcome heaven. This means not being attached to anything. And if we compare a situation with an idea we have, we create duality. We create what is and what could be or should be. And because of that, we can't perceive clearly anymore. We only perceive the thought which filters and distorts the whole of reality. And we get stuck in delusion. So this is what true freedom is all about. It's not about creating only something wonderful. where we feel good at all times. It's being completely free and available to every moment, however the moment looks like. You might now ask, but what's in it for me? I want to be enlightened and view this whole reality through this enlightenment perspective. This would mean that there is a separate being that is enlightened, and we carry this enlightened perspective from moment to moment. It's like carrying a backpack with something unnecessary with us at all times. And this way, we are not free anymore. True freedom means being free from any perspective, being free to take the moment as it is and not as we want or imagine it to be. In Taoism, there is a concept you might have already heard of called Wu Wei. Wu Wei is often translated as effortless action or action of non-action. It means allowing each action to arise in harmony with the moment, spontaneously and unrestricted, in alignment with the natural flow of life. Zen masters have translated it to the saying, when hungry eat, when tired sleep. It sounds very basic, but this is what it's all about. You don't check your hunger. You don't doubt it or worry about it. You just eat something. When Zen master Sung San came to the West, he simplified this ancient teaching in a way that could be understood by everybody. Instead of trying to convey the idea of Wu Wei, which can be confusing for beginners, he simply called it just do it. And this was even 10 years before Nike came up with this slogan. Just do it. From moment to moment, whenever you do something, don't check your situation, your thinking, or your feelings. Just do it. Whatever you're doing, just do it. When you drive with the car, just drive with the car. When you eat something, only eat. When you see a hungry person, give them food. When you see someone who needs help, just help. Only go straight and just do it. Become one with the moment. Alright, I think that's it. In the first lesson, we learned the basics of meditation. In the second lesson, we learned to become aware and let go of delusions. In the third lesson, we learned to become aware and let go of seeking something better than this moment right now. And in this lesson, we learned how to navigate life, how to embody an enlightened view instead of attaching to thinking or seeking. I really hope you practice strongly, whether on the cushion or in your daily life. Just keep a clear mind from moment to moment and just do it. And most importantly, don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt your true self. It's already in front of you right now. I really hope this course inspires your spiritual practice and meditation. I wish you all the best, your friend of the way,